New England Patriots select wide receiver Ja'Lynn Polk out of the University of Washington. Do we now have our number one wide receiver? We'll examine here on Patscast. Welcome to Patscast. I'm Brad Whitaker. New England Patriots start the second round of the 2024 NFL Draft by trading back 3 picks. Trading back with the LA Chargers, they got an earlier 4th round pick. So starting on day 3, they're going to have 2 early picks in the 4th round to be able to add some depth, whether that is bringing in another receiver, addressing the tackle position. They need to address corner or safety perhaps. They stockpiled some picks and got the receiver that it seems like they wanted early in the second round, Ja'Lynn Polk out of the University of Washington. Guy is just shy of 6'2", 203 pounds. Looks a lot bigger out there, though, if you watch him. He was kind of playing opposite Rome Odunze at Washington. Obviously, Odunze went early in the first round, and Ja'Lynn Polk has a pretty good reputation. Some people believed he may have been a 3rd round guy, so perhaps this was a bit of a reach, but this does feel like an Elliott Wolf type decision. Greg Bedard says he compares it a lot to the Green Bay Packers. Bedard used to work in Green Bay. We all know the connection between Elliott Wolf, his father Ron Wolf. Wolf also worked in Green Bay. Ron Wolf, famous GM for the Packers. He compares it to Jordy Nelson being that kind of pick, which was seen as a reach at the time, but ended up working fairly well. Now, Ja'Lynn Polk, gonna be an interesting fit, right? Like, he played a little bit on the outside, he played a little bit in the slot at Washington, can do a little bit of both, highly versatile, a guy that you can do a lot with, has kind of a running back ability. Unfortunately, he's not the fastest. I think he ran a 4.51 40, which, not slow, but, you're not as fast as, say, an A.D. Mitchell, who is still on the board. And I know a lot of Pats fans are upset, like, why don't you go out and grab A.D. Mitchell? Well, there's a reason Mitchell, who many projected to go somewhere around 2023, slipping into the second round potentially later, because there are a lot of red flags there in terms of maturity, in terms of him just taking plays off. Yeah, when he's open and when the ball's thrown his way, he catches it almost every time. But the problem is his production was not very good despite his sneaky route running and his shifty ability out there. And Patriots opted to go with a guy like Ja'Lynn Polk at wide receiver instead of A.D. Mitchell. And it looks like if they're going to address left tackle, they're going to have to do it at some point later in the draft. We also explored the potential for the Patriots to trade for a big-name receiver like Brandon Ayuk or T. Higgins or Deebo Samuel. That obviously didn't happen, at least with the early second-round pick, but wouldn't be shocked to see the Patriots try to trade for a receiver. They got a lot of cap space they still need to fill out. They would probably do it after the draft and trade some future picks. People don't expect the Patriots to be very good this season, so they may get a lot of value in return and not have to trade quite as much if they want to go after an Ayuk, a Higgins, or one of these guys who is a true big-bodied X-wide receiver. But that doesn't mean Ja'Lynn Polk can't be that guy. He's got exceptional hand strength. Really is a guy who, as we've said, it sounds cliche at this point, but turns 50-50 balls into 80-20 balls. You watch his highlights at the University of Washington. He transferred from Texas Tech before that. Great guy with great ball skills, body control, good ball handling, body movement. Also very physical. And like I said, his size doesn't jump out at you. He's just shy of 6'2", a little over 200 pounds, but he's very physical in his routes. Able to generate yards after the catch, something that the Patriots really have been missing. That was kind of their bread and butter, is getting those yards after the catch guys during the Tom Brady days. Great catch radius, red zone prowess. He's a guy who's going to score touchdowns in the end zone when you're inside the 15, inside the 10. A guy that you're going to be able to trust. And like I said, very versatile. This guy could play running back if you wanted to put him in that position. He can play a Deebo Samuel type role. Going to be able to do a lot with him, and Alex Van Pelt is going to have some tricks up his sleeve. And like I said, this is a guy that Elliott Wolf, Ron Wolf would have liked, and that's the strategy. The Patriots are embracing the Green Bay Packers drafting strategy. They're trying to build a team the way the Packers have. And look, Packers, I know they only have one Super Bowl the last couple decades, but they've been pretty damn good those last 2 decades. They almost always have a good team, even if they don't have the best roster. They're always in there in the NFC. And Elliott Wolf was a big part of that, and now he's drafting similar guys and building the Patriots a similar way. And what I like about this Ja'Lynn Polk pick is, especially for a guy like Drake May, who, has great arm strength, great athleticism, a lot of size. We know his red flags, right? Like, he has accuracy issues, and he's going to underthrow deep balls from time to time, and you want a big guy who's going to be able to go up there and make those catches and be able to shift and has a big catch radius, and that's exactly what Ja'Lynn Polk brings to the table, and I think that is the reason the Patriots selected him early in the second round. Now, there are some drawbacks there, right? Like, he's not the fastest receiver on the board. He's not a burner with a 4.5 140-yard dash. Doesn't mean he can't do a lot, but he kind of lacks that elite burst and acceleration that you really look for in modern NFL receivers. Similar to A.D. Mitchell, there has been talk about him having occasional lapses in concentration and dropping passes or taking plays off when he really should be putting in 100% effort. But everything I've heard about Polk says he's a high IQ, smart kid, very disciplined type of guy that's going to be able to develop into a real NFL wide receiver. I've also heard a lot of comparisons to Jacoby Myers. Taylor Kyles says Ja'Lynn Polk reminds me of Jacoby Myers with slightly more juice and less nuanced route running. He's got inside-out versatility and makes up for a lack of dynamic athleticism by being a big target with strong hands and exceptional toughness. Polk's reliability gives him high-end wide receiver 2 upside. Now, with the Patriots receiving core, that might be wide receiver 1, right? Like, we know they have a lot of B-, B+ type guys, but in all likelihood, it looks like unless the Patriots make a trade for a T. Higgins or a Brandon Ayuk at some point after the draft, or maybe during the draft if they're willing to deal some future picks, this is their X receiver. They're going to line him up on the outside. They're going to throw him to the Wolves. He's going to be playing right away. And he's going to have to learn to adapt to NFL defenses. He's going to have to refine his technical skills, his football IQ, and he's going to have to be able to deal with those elite level defensive players. And look, he's versatile, but there's a lot of issues with his route tree. Ran a lot of the same routes at the University of Washington, at Texas Tech. He's a guy that's going to need a little bit of work, but with his size or his physical ability, his versatility, at the very least, as he learns, as he develops, you're going to be able to get him comfortable by running different Deebo Samuel type plays to him, handing the ball off to him, doing a lot of different things, a lot of tricks. He's going to be able to get open off of play action. We know the Patriots are going to embrace a hybrid old school, new school, West Coast type offense. Now that Alex Van Pelt is the offensive coordinator, they're going to be running wide zone. They're going to be running a lot of bootlegs. Defenses are going to have to be on their toes, and this is the kind of guy that's going to be able to get open on the outside, in the middle of the field, and be able to catch those 50-50 balls that, whether it's Jacoby Brissett or Drake May or Bailey Zappi out there, you're going to be able to throw it up to him if nobody's open and at least feel fairly confident that the ball's not going to get intercepted at the very least, that he's at least going to be physical enough to reach the high point of the ball and maybe bring down those catches. And he is a missing piece. He is something the Patriots are lacking. And like I said, played a lot in the slot, played a lot in the outside at Washington. We know the Patriots have plenty of slot receivers. Demario Douglas, KJ Osborne, both slot guys. Juju Smith-Schuster, I know he's a much bigger guy, but he's a slot guy. Kendrick Bourne can play on the outside, but I feel more comfortable with him being a slot guy. He's going to probably be playing on the outside a lot more, especially with the addition of Osborne. And then you got two decent tight ends in the middle, Hunter Henry and Austin Hooper. So they're going to put Ja'Lynn Polk on the outside. They're going to try to develop him into a big-bodied, physical, ex-wide receiver, a guy that they can trust with 50-50 balls. A lot of people have N'Keal Harry PTSD with this type of pick, but I think looking at what he did in Washington, playing for a real competitive team, what he did going up against Texas, you know, what he's done with Michael Penix throwing him some deep balls downfield, he really improved a lot throughout his college career, has exceptional playmaking ability, very physical, and I think the Patriots, it's going to take a little bit of time to get him used to being a potential number one wide receiver, but they're going to be able to do a lot with him right on week 1. So this is an exciting pick. Wouldn't have been my choice, I'll be honest. Like, I kind of got excited about A.D. Mitchell. The Patriots wanted to get a receiver, but really, I think there's going to be enough good receivers in the 3rd round that I kind of wish the Patriots had opted for a tackle like Kingsley or Patrick Paul or one of those guys who they can put at left tackle on week 1. And those guys probably aren't going to be available, right? But we'll be back in round 3 covering who the Patriots select there, or at the end of round 2 if they trade up. They got some more picks, so if they want to move up, they probably can. Be sure to subscribe to Patscast for more draft coverage, and we'll certainly have quite a bit to say after the draft is over and try to make sense of everything. You're going to want to listen. Sunday.